Well, here we are. It's December 16th. It's Saturday. 9 more days. And it's Christmas time for the Christian world. Whoops. Almost spilled my coffee all over my control panel here. That would not have been good. I don't know what coffee does to a multi-$1,000 laptop. Computer says don't do that. Yeah, I guess I would just spray distilled water on it for forever. Oh, I'm not on the boom mic. I'm on a pedestal. So any sounds go right up through the microphone. I should really put that back on here so you don't get all my little tinker noise. Well, since where my battery is, it's 67%. Let's just I fill it up whenever I'm sitting here. There we go. Okay. Well, we got a lot of stuff since my last conversation. We got a lot of stuff that's happened. Yep. There we go. So now we got this on. Very sensitive, so I don't have to get close to it. I can be this far away. It's focused right on me. Okay. So, let's, going back in time here a little bit. So Putin says, you can see over here on the left side of the screen, there will be no peace in Ukraine until goals are achieved. Oh, what goals are they? I know, that's the saga. I have another panel here that says he's lost 316,000 of his military dead. I mean, this is a constant and you got a standoff like that. It's just between the Ukrainians and the Russians. They're going to lose a whole generation of people, because they're just pouring lives down the drain. It's a shame. Now, militarily speaking, our military likes it because, granted, we're spending billions in support of Ukraine, providing them with all the armaments and, these howitzer. I mean, it's the amount of stuff we're shipping over there is just, incredible. And But it's not our American military lives. In other words, the military, from a HR standpoint, we're not losing our human resources, our national treasure. We're just burning up money. And the Russians are burning up a whole generation of their military. And they don't even want to be there. You know, they're there because they're forced to be there. Of course, our military, if we had military there, which I think we only have our military there from a standpoint of the distribution of these armaments, you know, the handoff, so to speak. You know, someone has to be on the welcome mat, right? You know, okay, here's 2 million rounds of. Someone want to sign for it, please? So we got guys, you know, with clipboards, military police, and I mean, I don't know what they actually have, but our guys aren't being shot at, so to speak. They're just at the airfields receiving this incredible amount of armaments and missiles and things. I mean, if you see these howitzer shells, I mean, they're like, you know, I mean, it's got to cost, you know, I know what, you know, a little bullet, you know, a 45 ACP round, you know, that costs 50 cents a piece. Now, I mean, that's, you know, Jimmy Photo buying it, you know, at discount, I get it 45 cents a piece. The military buys it maybe for, well, you would think bulk supply, they'd pay less, but knowing how procurement goes, we're probably paying a dollar around. It should be, you would think, 25 cents around. Or if I'm paying 45 cents, you know, if you're going to buy 2 million of them, you think it'd be cheaper discount, right? Anyway, let's just say they're paying 50 cents a round. So 1 million rounds, you know, so $500,000 for a pallet, you know, of ACP 45s, just for the sidearms, not counting these machine guns and stuff that you use to, you know, fill up a tank, which is a death trap in my opinion. You know, it's a roving death trap. Because if that gets hit, everybody inside. And you don't necessarily have to penetrate that sucker. You know, if you have a, you know, what do you call it, a artillery shell, and it hits the tank, the tank's going to be in, you know, pretty serious shape. All right? Should be. Oops. Yeah. Well, if it has a big enough charge, you know, it's an artillery shell that comes out of a tank or out of artillery, you know, cannons that are on wheels and, you know, they open the latch and this thing comes out. You know, it's a, you know, the diameter, I mean, the shell is, you know, whew. So, but the tip of that artillery shell is usually an explosive thing. And, you know, they hit a building and it blows the side of the building off. You know, well, if it hits a tank and it's got, you know, a real strong charge, explosive charge, and, you know, everybody inside is scrambled eggs. You know, all their capillaries burst. You know, so you don't have to necessarily penetrate the tank with any kind of a poison gas or something. You know, that would be for a much smaller gauge, 50 millimeter, you know, machine gun kind of a thing. If that hits the tank, they have a special high-speed ammunition that has a poison tip on it, so to speak. So that shell has so much energy when it hits, like an iron tank, all that kinetic energy turns into heat, right? Energy goes from one form to another. It doesn't disappear. That's the law of physics. It's like Elon Musk says, everything is physics or mathematics. All the rest is strictly coincidental. It's a conversation. But in the laws of physics, Sir Isaac Newton so the explosive charge, all that energy with that explosion, shoots this 50 caliber round into the tank. So it's going at 2,000 or 3,000 feet per second, and all of a sudden there's no more forward motion. So all that energy, the momentum, so it would be the velocity times its mass. That's energy. E equals mc squared. Remember that one, Mr. Einstein? E equals mc squared. So it turns into heat, and it burns a hole right through that half-inch steel, and maybe the hole, the round is, so the hole is only maybe this big in diameter, the size of my pen tip here, but the poison gas gets in there and kills everybody. Because they mixed arsenic in the tip of those rounds that are what they call tank killers. It's tank contents killers. Kill everybody in the tank. Yeah. And there are other shells that just go in there and just obliterate the tank, with a huge shock explosion. And, the armament of the tank helps it for, just rifle rounds, but not artillery rounds. When they hit tanks, that's usually the end of the tank. And if it's not the end, it necessarily destroys all the mechanical aspects of the tank. It just kills everybody in it, which, that's what war is all about. Kill the enemy. Terrible. But terrible, true. So I'm just going back in history, looking at these. Everyone's all, energized about this AI, artificial intelligence. Well, let me tell you something, folks. As a technology person, artificial intelligence has been around with us for a very long time. It's almost as long as I can remember. Remember computer programming? What do you think that is? I used to be a computer programmer.
J.L. Wilson. Computer programming or coding.
Computer, stop. My computer's going to tell us what computer programming is. Oh my God. I didn't ask you. It's amazing. My computers are arguing with me. Anyway, artificial intelligence has been around a long time. I mean, I was a coder, what they call a coder. Back in my day, it was called a programmer. I was a programmer. I studied, I read manuals on how to program. And one of the programs was COBOL. COBOL, COBOL. I was a COBOL programmer. I was a junior RPG programmer. I went to IBM school. There's a picture of me standing there with, proudly standing. I was outstanding in my field. But, back in the 70s, okay, IBM offered classes in programming. And it was a formal class. He had paid for it, and my company agreed to pay. It was an interesting request, to the retailer, and I was director of operations for this retailer, and I told the two principal owners of the company, said, "Hey, I got this. IBM is offering this class. I should be taking it because we need it, and we're getting so many employees. We need to keep track of our employees. You can't have piles of records in 4 or 5 different states. Everything's got to come into this headquarters, and we got to act like big boys." So I stood there, and it was like, I'm going to say 30 others, and it was like a big picture with the IBM buildings in the background in the T-Rex Center. It was really exciting. IBM had a major installation there. Beautiful conference rooms. The setting, this classroom setting, with big corporate America, I'm just, I'm just a guy trying to learn COBOL, right? And so there are a lot of serious people taking this class along with me. Everyone's like suit, pretty much suit and tied up, and so I'm 27 years old, I think, at the time, and I'm learning programming, COBOL. And you got to learn it because the company paid serious money for me to go to this, it's a couple $1,000. Not counting the payroll time, right? It was like a week or 2. I'm going to say 2, although I don't specifically remember, but let's just say 10-day training. And so that's 10 days of payroll. That's dead in the water because the company's paying me. They not only paid, I'm going to say $1,000 for this class for Jimmy to go to. Everyone else had to pay their $1,000, from their companies too. Some individuals probably maybe paid their own way. I don't know. But I know my company paid for me to go. So you gotta learn it. So there's no way you're going to get when they give you a little quiz, you're going to get a D. No, you're going to get A+, because the company is spending money, to educate you so that you become a successful coder. Because these computers, they're big, plus the company, bought a Burroughs B1700, 2700 computer, which, would fill my studio here with computer equipment. And you got this big thing here, and you got, you key in, and you, in the programming language, you type, and you create these cards. You have a little stack of cards, and that's the program for, employee registrations, for example. And then you take that stack of cards, and you feed it into the computer, and it creates a program. In other words, this deck of cards creates then a software application that's in the computer, and the Burroughs PC. And then it gets compiled. So the English language codes and, then creates gets fed into the computer. It gets, and the application that you run it is called a compiler. So it compiles cards in relation to the operating system that's in the computer, so that it compiles it, and it produces then an application, or an app in today's language. So then you execute that app, and then the computer waits for employee registration information. That particular app. Today we have iPhones and apps. It's amazing what we have today. Anyway, so here's artificial intelligence. As a computer program in 1975, 6, 7, right around that time period. When I'm 30, 20. Yeah, 30, 32 years old, young whippersnipper. That is artificial intelligence. So instead of this robotic looking, can't tell whether that's a boy or a girl, right? Because it doesn't have hair. Anyway, I was looking at a computer screen. Very cute. Very cute. Analyzing Netflix viewership data with ChatGPT. That's what this article is about. But I just pulled that up there for the whole conversation of artificial intelligence. All of a sudden everyone's exercised over artificial intelligence. Come on, it's been around a long time. Your thermostat, for God's sakes, is artificial intelligence. If the temperature goes up, it turns on the compressor in the air conditioner. That little routine is artificial intelligence. So instead of me having to turn on the compressor every time the temperature goes up a little bit, I got a thermostat on the wall there, and it automatically adjusts, and it takes data from the internet, it's connected to my network. Yeah, I have originally designed by Nest, N-E-S-T, my whole thermostat thing. That's a package of artificial intelligence. I bought it 10, 12 years ago when we moved into this apartment building. I took off the stupid thermostat that has a little thing that goes this way and that way. And you get out of here. So I connected, the 6 wires that comes through every house, to control your air conditioning equipment. Well, the controller is the thermostat. This little box that sits on the wall, and the wires go in the back of the box. Well, I took those wires off, and I put my thermostat on, which is electronic. And when the maintenance people go in and say, "Oh my God, what's this?" I say, "Go away. Just you go where the air conditioner compressor is. Don't worry about the thermostat. It runs like every other thermostat, and it's set on cold, and it's not cold. So you fix it. The thermostat is not the problem." So I got to. There's one guy in this building that handles all the air conditioning equipment, and every time he comes in, he says, "Oh, you're the one with the thermostat." I can't believe I'm the only. It's a 200 dwelling unit, relatively modern multifamily facility. 8, 9 stories, 9 buttons on the elevator. Right? We're on floor number 8. Anyway, artificial intelligence, everything that controls the elevator is going up and down. That's all computer artificial intelligence. You push, I'm standing on floor number 8, I push the button, the down arrow button or the up arrow button, right? Because I could either want to go to the 9th floor, or I could either want to go to a floor that's under me. Like floor 7, 6, 5, 4, down to the lobby. Well, all of that, the operations of those buttons is artificial intelligence. That's a pretty smart, goes around, to pick up other people and order number 5 if they want to go down. All that is sophisticated, really sophisticated artificial intelligence that's been going on ever since God made elevators. So now all of a sudden artificial intelligence is this, well, what they've done is this GPT, you can see right there. Oops, let me expand. See, that's what's got everybody all exercised. Because now with the Chat GPT, which I've used it, as a former coder, I have a special interest in how to operate computers, and I've got multiple iPads, iPhone, I got 500 applications on this phone. I use probably 20 of them, and I keep going through them and trying to erase the ones you don't use. And I look at the inventory of apps on the stupid phone. It's unbelievable. I can show you right here. Let's just say setting, about. Hit the about button. Okay, so on this, see applications. You can see, I can't expand over this. Applications, 659 applications on this iPad. I use 10 probably, and the other 630, I don't really use all the time, but I don't have the heart to throw them away. So I got 1 terabyte of capacity, and I got 531 billion bytes available. If you can see right there, I'm shaking it. I'm looking at this side. Available, 500 gigabytes. My total capacity is 1 terabyte. So we're using about 500 gigabytes with all these applications and the data that it holds and everything. I mean, it's the operating system, I think, is about 20 gigabytes. It's the software, stupid. Software controls these things. Anyway, so there you go. I just upgraded the iPad OS is operating system version. iPad OS 17.3. And then in brackets, it's got 21D 5026F. So all my devices, have the latest iPad software or iPhone software, whatever the case may be. My Wi-Fi network is RPP 801 Royal Palm Plaza. Now, we moved to 812, but I didn't rename the network. You got to go in there and figure out. So it's 812. Who cares? RPP Royal Palm Plaza. No, I'm just sent a message. This thing is, it's amazing how we in my blood sugar. Let's see what's going on there. Took a little, there we go. It's on the downside. It's 128. But see, it's up to almost 300 at 5 a.m. So I took a shot. I gave myself a 4.5 unit subcutaneous injection with a little what do you call it? Oops, sorry. A consumer product where you can give yourself your own insulin. I take insulin, I'm 103 years old, so I don't, this Jardiance, they have these pills that you can take. Forget that. pills cost $50 a pill. Are you kidding me? 30 days, that's and that's after insurance. That's what I got to pay. $50 a pill? Give me a break. I told my doctor, I said, you know what? I'll control my blood sugar with insulin. And so I have to keep myself down in the green range there. And you can see from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., this mountain. Now it's not dangerously high. It's just high. When it gets over 350, you need to do something. You're not going to fall over dead, but you're not going to fall over at all. I don't even know. I've been, at 350, and I didn't feel any. But what it does is damages your organs. If your blood sugar is not controlled, so to speak. Now I got this little thing that I, stick on the back of my arm. Right here. It's a little thing that the size of a nickel. A nickel, and it's got something that penetrates your skin, and every 5 minutes it takes a reading and sends it to my phone. Now this happens to be. I can go all the way across here and grab this little pointer and go all the way across and see, what it peaked at 287. Yeah, right there. And that was, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., about 5:30. You go down there and you can see the hours. So it was 287 at 5 something in the morning. Anyway, and it's 125 now. That's exactly where it should be. Right in the middle of that green range. So between 75 and 80 and 180. That's is green. That's where you want to be. So I took 4.5 units, to push that down. The hospital, when I went to the hospital, last time I was in the hospital for bronchitis, acute bronchitis. That happens to me occasionally. And so, they take your blood measurements. They stick you, take a couple of vials of blood every 4 hours. They won't take it out of the IV line. Oh no, we can't do that. Why not? That's already in there. You keep poking holes in me. It's annoying. Anyway, so then the nurses, boys or girls, nurses, RN, registered nurse, and works in the hospital. He comes in and he looks at he says, well, your blood sugar's at 312. I'm making that up. He said, I'm going to give you 3 units of insulin to bring your blood sugar level in the green range, which is 80 to 180, somewhere in there. When you get up to 300, the hospital, they'll give you insulin. And these other pills, that $50, my doctor gave me like 3 or 4 sample bottles. It had like 7 pills in a bottle. These little professional sample bottles. And he gave me like 4 of those. He said, I got a whole bunch more. I'll give them to you. I didn't realize they were $50 a pill. My cost. Insurance company's paying, $70 a pill, and I got to pay $50 a pill. $120 a pill? Really? So when you talk about ridiculous medical prices, Jardians, you see it, they're skating and all. $120 a pill. I mean, they should be celebrating. Geez, that's it's all the engineering. It takes like 10 years or so to bring a drug to market. except when Trump's in office. He brought this virus, this, what do you call it, vaccination thing. My God. You know, in less than a year, in 10 months, he had the virus all tested, you know, with these major laboratories, and boom, it's, you know, hundreds, you know, tens of millions of copies of, it's the first time I took a flu shot ever. You know, it was the Trump flu shot, you know, to protect me from the stupid COVID-19 thing. Not stupid. I mean, it killed 100,000 people. It's a lot of people. The China virus killed 100,000 Americans, and they never fired a bullet. Amazing. Anyway, so we went to artificial intelligence. We went to my blood sugar. Okay, been talking for 36 minutes. All right, let's get out of here. So that's an app that's on my iPad, so I can watch my blood sugar. And of course, since I have that app, I can show you, which is okay. If I, you know, the app is on my phone, which is where it should be. It's right here, the red thing, yellow. There it is, see, 126. There's a match. Oops, microphone's in the way. But you can see the same graph. Now, I can't move it like I can with this. But my wife has this on her phone, and she sends me texts. She says, Jimmy, your blood sugar's high. So I've got my cell phone, and I got Marilyn. She says, well, your alarm keeps going off, you know, because I have an alarm set on her phone. And I mean, she whacked me in the middle of the night. Jimmy, your blood sugar says it's 350. What's going on? Ugh, I forgot to take a shot. I had this delicious bowl of pasta with mushroom gravy. Oh, I had that at like midnight. Well, at 3 a.m., my blood sugar was going off the what do you call it? Phew. So, I mean, that's nice. This is created by Abbott Laboratories. This app. Is there an about thing? There's my alarms. See, all my alarms are on. Time and range. That's yeah. Eesh, not good. See, 50% in range and 50% out of range. That is not where you want to be. It's usually 70. Let's 73% in range. This is, you know, like the last week is terrible. 50% in range, and obviously 14% was 81 to 250, and 17% of the time I was over 250. That's not very good blood sugar management. It's a nice thing. I mean, this takes your blood sugar level every 5 minutes. And you don't have to do anything. It's all automated. And the little thing, you know, sends, you know, a low level Bluetooth type signal into the app that's in the phone. And then it produces a nice graph. Let me turn the brightness down so it's friendly. There you go. You can see how that looks. I mean, it's a very nice display. This camera I got up here is so sensitive that I have to turn the brightness. Look at this. The brightness on the phone, I have to turn it not all the way down because then I can't see it. But see, now you can see it's a nice, you know, 3 colors. If I expand this is 7-day, 14-day, 30-day, 90-day. So if you look at the 30-day view, this has 20 of 30 days. Okay, so for the last 20 days, it's 73% in range, and that means it's 27% out of range. Well, 20% of it is in this yellow category, and 7% of the time it was over 250, which, so, I look at that and I say, well, if I want better glucose management than, than what's on this graph. I want it to be 80% in the green, not 73%. So anyway, and then I can come up here, and this is, so for just look at a fast 7-day view, my A1C is 7.9. That's no good. Let's see, if I look at the 30-day view, it's 7.2. I had 90 days of data. So, I mean, if I control this right, and I will control it right, it's just, I had a few days where you need to take the insulin 30 minutes before you have the big bowl of pasta, not 2 hours after. And the graph goes up, and then you got to bring it down. So the insulin takes about 45 minutes to get in your blood system and so forth. And it helps, it's like an assist. Your body produces insulin. My body produces insulin. So if I eat like a normal, person, my blood sugar stays in the green range. Every once in a while it goes up. So the insulin, it's like an assist. Okay? It's a blood sugar assist. So if I know I'm going to have, rice, oh my God. If I go to my favorite, Asian restaurant, and I get, scallop fried rice, not even on the menu. They have scallops and they got fried rice. So, and rice makes my blood sugar go bananas. So I definitely take a shot, like a 5 or 6 unit blast of insulin before I leave the apartment here. I have it in the refrigerator. Nice little package. Just stick that in my little belly. The needle is, 4 millimeters. So, you can stick it in as far as it'll go, and it's 4 millimeters. Because the needle is a short little needle, very, very fine gauge. It's 32 gauge, which is, I think, the hypodermic goes to 30. You can get 33 gauge, but these needles are 32 gauge. So it's not the absolute thinnest, but the needle's so thin, you stick it in, you don't even feel it. You really don't. You don't you just bang it right in there. Yeah, just push it right in. Don't be shy. If you slide it and go slow, what the heck? It's like Harry Carey. Forget it. Just stick it in you. And if you stick it in with, with a little bit of velocity, just like that, just get it right in there. These people that give the vaccinations and they slide. You gotta slide the needle in there. We used to, I was a pre-med student, and we used to practice on oranges. Because the outer skin of an orange is kind of like the outer skin of the human, and you practice we literally practice giving injections into an orange. Oh boy. To me, the better fruit for practicing injections would be a tomato, a ripe tomato. But, when you're in a class with hundreds of students, theoretically, it's hard to, manage a bunch of ripe tomatoes because they're spoilage and, they're not, they're kind of tender. So you put them all back in the basket and you take it out for the next class. But if I were to have a one-on-one class with somebody, and we were going to practice how to give injections, I would bring a nice ripe tomato, because the exterior surface of the skin of a tomato would be similar to the surface of the skin, and underneath it's all very, ooey gooey, so you just pop that needle right in the tomato. But for class purposes, when you got a lot of students and this and that, oranges have a lot better shelf life for, dealing with it for a week's worth of students, mistreating the fruit. Anyway, we practiced on oranges, when I was in pre-med, training school, biology class, if you will. Let me get this iPad going up. Let's fire this up. There we go. All right, let's get rid of that app. I'm not going to turn the app off. I'm going to slide it. Come on, baby. There we go. So we slide up. So these are apps I have open. I'm going to shut some of these down because we're not using them. The photo app I am. That I'm going to leave. Settings I don't need. Text messages I don't want. There we go. So we can go on current news. Yep, I can transmit that. So you'll see a slideshow of the upcoming, there we go. Breaking news. Palestinian poll, overwhelming majority want, they want you to stop. There you go. They're starting the 2023 history in the news, the news summaries, so forth. Time and range. There we go. So Prince Harry was part of a class action suit, and they won a suit. It had to do with these people hacking their phones. Everybody has these personal communication devices, aka the iPhone, for example. And a friend of mine sent me a thing that Tesla is fooling around with the thought of coming up with a phone. I sent Elon Musk a tweet, or whatever they want to call him now, and said, hey, you stick to rockets and cars, okay? Forget about the phone. Apple's got a 12-year history of dealing with the phone, and they have 2 billion of them in circulation. And it's, the phone itself, is, can be manufactured. You have a lot of different companies in Asia and United States and other industrialized countries that are capable of manufacturing the iPhone, for example, if you had the roadmap on how to make an iPhone. And if you wanted to build your own your own personal communications device that hooks up into the networks with, the G4 and G5 networks, that's fine. But it's the software stupid. Remember James Carville? He said it's the economy stupid when he was marking up the speeches that Clinton was giving. And Carville wrote in the margin, it's the economy, stupid. Stop talking about all this other crap. The American people want to know about the economy. That's how you get elected. They don't want to hear about all this, the other bells and whistles. Anyway, Prince Harry won a litigation. It gives to him about 200,000 pounds of the British pounds sterling. All right, what's going on here? There we go. Ukraine says they've downed 14 Russian drones. There's a drone laying on the ground there with a broken wing, so forth. That's pretty good-sized drone. That's like kamikaze So that's not a drone that flies overhead and drops a bomb. The drone itself is a bomb. But in this case, it was shot down by some force that the Ukrainians used against it, with machine gun fire or whatever, and it crashed. And it didn't explode, so they picked up the pieces and said, "Ha, we knocked down 14 things that look just like this." So that's what the display is there. And the Ukrainian president is standing over it. He's got a pretty hard sell. He's talking to Congress. He's talking to the president. He's talking to, the Speaker of the House, which is, the head of the House Representatives, and the head of the Senate. Schumer, who's, he's a piece of work. So we're gonna send them billions of dollars so they can take care of their borders, which is basically what this whole struggle is. The Russians have, crossed into the borders. We're being invaded every day. There's 10, 12,000, and who knows how many of them are bad guys. These guys aren't betting them. They're just letting them in. They're taking down their name. Oh, okay. They're trying to take down their names as fast as they possibly can. So their idea of border security is, oh, yeah, well, we're going to hire more people to take down their names. No. Trump wouldn't let them in. You're going to wait for your asylum hearing. You're going to wait in your country. You're not going to wait in our country because I don't want to have to worry about trying to find you. Biden, they don't care. I don't understand why he doesn't care. I care, but I can't do anything about it. The governor of Texas cares. He's trying to do everything he can to stop it, with barbed wire and all this stuff. And the administration is suing the state of Texas because they're trying to secure their own border because the president isn't. That's his job, by the way. Borders is in the Constitution is something that the president is supposed to deal with because it's a multi-state, it's a jurisdiction of the United States government. And it's like the armed forces, the United States government. Every state doesn't have to have their own armed force. We have one armed force to protect our country. And they deal outside the country. We have a National Guard, which is armed forces, essentially, that deals with the interior of the United States, along with the FBI. Okay? Because FBI is multi-state. You have one FBI that deals with crime inside the borders. The CIA, crime outside the borders. And National Guard inside the borders of each state. And the United States military, controlled by the United States government, handles stuff outside of the United States. But we got all these people, that are rushing our borders right now. DeSantis, he says, hey, I'll have the military and I will fire on the cartel. They'll be running and hiding inside of Mexico. And so the president of Mexico's got two choices: control your cartel, keep them out of our country, stop with the fentanyl deliveries, or we're gonna use our military action against inside your borders. Okay. Now that's how you stop it. Oh, please don't do. Well, these people are running for their lives. They're giving up everything to cross in here. Let's just say the people that aren't, bad guys. And we don't know what the percentage is. Let's just say it's 90% good people, 10%. I look at this, a line of military-aged men. That's who's coming in here. 10 by the tens of thousands. Okay, every once in a while you see a woman with a kid. But if you look at the lines, they got. Look at this. They're all military-aged men. and they're being bussed all over the goddamn place. Yeah. So every state is a border state. But the border states really have, because you got all these gotaways that basically our armed forces is so tied up with taking down the names of these. They're taking down names, right? And they're creating computer records, so a big deal. So you got, can you imagine how many Jose's you got? Yeah, jeez. Anyway. This app, see the big F? Flip. FLIP BOARD. That's the app. You tell the app what you're interested in, and it goes and searches all, thousands of news agencies to get the information that you want. And, this is just some headline stuff. So I flip it. Thing's called Flipboard. See, you see Flipboard down here in the corner right there. You got a picture of Jimmy. Flipboard. So I can touch Apple Watch and it'll be a bunch of stories about the Apple Watch. So the most recent is up front. And as you keep flipping, you're going into, here's electric vehicles. You want to look about these 4 electric vehicles require costly maintenance. Well, I got news for you. I've been driving I have a Tesla, by the way, and it gets about 290 miles of range. Okay, it says 330, but after 2.5 years, the battery wears down a little bit. I looked at the charts. There's an app where you can look at the values of things with the Tesla, and I'm running around 290 miles in range. Okay, and it's kind of like leveled off. So I went from 330 down to 290. So I lost 40 miles of range just because the car's 2.5 years old. And the battery you charge and discharge, charge and discharge. So the batteries wear down a little bit. They don't wear out. There's kind of like an 8 or 10 year warranty. We're on a 3-year lease, so that's way inside of a 10-year warranty. Anyway, you know what our maintenance is? With 27 months of driving, 0. We've had no maintenance at all. Nothing, knock on wood. Leaf on wood. Gee. There's nothing to break. The tires, stay solid as a rock in alignment. Now, I'm careful. I don't run over curbs and stuff, hopefully. Let's see what, they have a picture of a Tesla there. They require costly maintenance. Well, I don't know if these other car manufacturers have made enough cars. And they've not been on the roads for, more than what? No one's making the cars. They just started making the cars this year. Well, how do you track that? I'm scanning this, or I'm speed reading this article. The Audi e-tron. How many of those I got on the road? 12? Tesla's got several million cars, I believe, on the road. So that's, a relatively serious sampling of what's going on. The Rivian R1S. They don't say, they've got these ranked on the most costly, I guess. Battery replacement cost is $12,000. But, got an 8-year warranty. I worry about that in, year 2030? I'm going to turn the car in next year. June of 2024, the lease is up. And we'll decide if we want to get another one. I told Marilyn, I said, I don't care if we get another one or not. I've driven the car for 3 years, or, when we get to the 3-year mark. And it's a great car. There's no maintenance. You plug it in, You know, if you plug in with a supercharger, and they got chargers everywhere. So I hear, Fox News. Oh my God, you have to hunt around. They're everywhere. Okay, there's 40,000 different places you can plug in. 40,000. The only reasonable complaint that you can have is that, it takes about 22 minutes to get 80% of your battery charged. Well, 80% of 290, let's just say 300. So you get 250 miles of range in about 20 minutes, 22 minutes. Okay? That's so what? So you fool with you send your text, you read your email. You sit in there. The charge, the superchargers that Tesla has built over the last 8 years, 10 years they've been making the cars. All the car manufacturers have agreed to use the Tesla plug because they already got 30,000 charges all over the world, in major cities. So all the major car manufacturers that are now seriously going to make electric cars may as well standardize on the Tesla plug. And so they have. Volvo signed up, Ford signed up, Chevrolet signed up. They all signed up. So all cars manufactured in, starting next year, which is, how many weeks is that away? They've decided smartly. It's a nice little plug. Yeah, it's like a garden hose. Plug it into your, you plug it into the front or back where they decide to put the plugs. The sockets. Anyway, maintenance. This article is about maintenance, which you can see. These 4 electric vehicles require costly maintenance. Well, it's a ridiculous article because there are not enough cars on the road from the various ones that they mention. What do they got? 500 cars on the road? That's not a big enough sample to determine which ones are more costly than others. Tesla's got several million. Hello, the M word. And they have every car has a data line connected through the cellular system in the United States. I can just speak for the United States. So it knows where your car is. It knows how fast you're driving. It knows if the software in the car is not operating properly, and sends signals back, to Fremont, California, and they have a huge server farm that collects this data, and they can go sift through it and find out anything they want about all the cars, including the one I'm driving. Okay? And you sign the thing saying it's okay for them to collect this information. And if you don't sign that thing, you don't get the car. That's pretty simple. Tesla doesn't mess around. Hey, you're giving up your rights to privacy. Well, tough shit. Whoops, sorry. Tough duties. That's they want to know everything about what's going on with the car because they're writing software. If they have a little issue with the software, which they just announced as, some kind of a breaking issue, they send an update over the phone. We just got an update, like 4 or 5 days ago. It goes right into the car's computer, right through, their data line that's provided in the car. No charge to you. It's all part of the car purchase or lease, whatever your arrangement is. To me, leasing is just another form of financing. It's the most favorable form of financing because it has 2 components: the money cost and the depreciation. And with a Tesla, there's not much depreciation. Anyway, So electric vehicles, this is all about electric vehicles. That's part of Flipboard. So we can go to iPhones. This is all about iPhone stuff. You know, I'm an adjunct faculty at FAU, and I get thousands of questions all about electronic stuff and digital photography, which is what I taught. Now, just if I hit this button up here, this goes back into, this top corner is like opening up a newspaper, and it goes through all the articles based on where I want the information to come from, what source, and the topics. So the app, the computer, merges my interest from all these data sources and my interest levels on, technology, aerospace, you check off boxes. So it takes you, 15 minutes to run through the app so that it knows what you want to look at. If you don't want to do all that and you just want the app to send you stuff, you can do that too. But if you really want to use the app so that, it sifts through and gets information from all over the place. Every article has a source. And go right across here. And there's cultural stuff about, sound kitchen. What is a sound kitchen? A properly operating kitchen. The weekend updates. Here's golf teaching lessons. Apple Watch Series 9 versus the Apple Watch SE2. What are all the big differences? I mean, that's, yeah. Look at this. This is a artificial intelligence in a bug, in something that looks like a bug. But it is actually something that flies around and takes pictures. But, it's a little tiny bug. It flies around, doesn't make a lot of noise. It's like a I have a whole set and a camera case there. It's a DJI drone. Now they're making the drones that fit in something that looks like the size of a bug. Takes pictures, videos, still images. Somewhere in this article it's going to tell me, the equivalent lens, Anyway, so that's what that article's about. I don't want to read it now, but Flipboard is a terrific source. I go to it every day. I can spend, a half a day going through Flipboard and all that. Where you can see in the very bottom here, the little dots. Well, I can push the 5th dot, the 7th dot, 9th dot, the 1st dot, which is the equivalent of turning these pages. Every time I turn a page, the dots count off. You want to go back to the front, just slide that all the way this way. You want to go to the end, look at articles that came up yesterday or the day before, you go all the way to the end. These articles 8 hours ago, 10 hours ago. There you go. Okay, I'm done. Have a great day. Hey.
Overdraft fees.
This is from the mailbox. Okay. Fun.
This is not the day to do pictures.
Okay.
It's too windy and rainy.
No passport pictures.